go. Okay, sis, get into this video, bro, because I know a lot of men watch me now. I don't know why I'm so like jittery and all that. So what's up, everybody? Hey, how y'all doing? My name is Nicole. Y'all should know me by now. But if you don't, hey, how you doing? You need to subscribe right now. Today, a lot of truck drivers, they watch me. Future truck drivers, inspired. Just want to get their CDL, everything, hold that in the third in the industry, right? So I had asked on my Instagram, not my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook, and my Snapchat for those people to send me questions dealing with anything. So I got a lot of questions about truck driving, so I'm going to make this a separate video. When I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at my phone and all of the questions. I basically took a picture of them all. Yeah, took a picture of what I could and everything that I saw of truck driving, and then I'm gonna make a separate video for the Q&A of other questions. So if y'all have any juicy questions, maybe personal, anything y'all want to ask me in this video, comment down below your questions dealing with anything. It could be trucking, I could do a part 2, it don't matter, all of that. So make sure y'all comment down below your questions, and I will make a separate video and do the part 2 to this questionnaire or whatever. Today I am going, as y'all can see by the title, today I'm going to be answering y'all questions that y'all ask me on my social media platforms about truck driving and the industry and all of that stuff. So this is kind of like, it can go with my truck driving video, my last truck driving video about like jobs, and I was basically updating y'all of my situation in the industry right now. So if y'all want to hear these questions and answers, and these might be questions that you guys want to know for anybody, so y'all want to listen to all the answers that I give to these questions that everybody asks me, please stay tuned. Let's get to this video. Alright, so it's quite a few, but we're gonna try to get through all these questions. So the very first question is, what do you like best about your job or about truck driving? What I like best, I'm a traveler, so I love traveling. So it's basically everything about traveling. I mean, if you guys didn't know, I used to work for Snyder. I will link that in the card section and down below in the description box. But the position I had for Snyder, I was a regional truck driver, so I was covering the central region. So their central region, I'm not sure about everybody else's, but it covered all of the South. So I can tell you guys, I'll tell y'all around it, and then y'all can get a gist of where everywhere else I went. So Florida, I didn't go past Texas. I went up and did not go past like the Iowa, Kansas, Wisconsin area, and I went as far as Pennsylvania. So I covered like Michigan and all of that stuff. So yeah, in that big round circle, I've covered all of that part of the country. So I got to see a lot of places that I wouldn't actually really see for real, especially if I was traveling by car. Because dealing with truck driving, you see a lot of stuff. Like I saw like Amish people. It was that in like the Bowling Green, Kentucky area. So it's a lot of Amish people within like that area. I'm not sure of the actual city, but I know it's by Bowling Green. So if y'all, those who truck drive and been over there, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. So it's like up in that area. I've seen some Amish people elsewhere. I've never actually been near. I've probably been near their community or whatever, but I've seen them on their horse and like the little carriage thing. So that was pretty dope. I've never seen that before. You only see stuff like that on TV. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I just love traveling. That's the best part about truck driving. You get to see all these different cities and states that you never thought you would go to, mountains and everything. So what do you like least about your job or truck driving? What I liked the least about it, honestly, was two things. The first thing, of course, is you're away from your family for however long your job requires you to be gone to work. So for me, it wasn't a long amount of time, but it wasn't short either. So I was out, I want to say 12 days. So it's basically I'm out for a week and a half, and I'm supposed to come home for 3 to 4 days, and then I'm right back out the door and gone again. Sometime my dispatcher was really cool, and you know, she knew I was a mother and all of that stuff, so she never tripped if I stayed more than 5 days. If I stayed more than 5 days, and then wherever my truck was parked, I had to leave the keys and take all my stuff out just in case anybody else needed the truck, which was a big no. Okay, no. So it never happened, but I would have played like, oh, I left my keys at home, I'm not at home, I'm out of town, I would have hit her with that. So, and the second least favorite about my job would have to be, mountain driving. Yeah, mountain driving is the worst for me because I don't like heights. And if you're sitting in a semi-truck, tractor trailer, whatever you want to call it, AT-wheeler, when you're on these mountains, high bridges, and it's a cliff or something, something's down there, and if you're in a car you can't see, but if you're in a truck you sit so high you can literally see everything, and that like kind of freaked me out at first. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I drove to Big Island, Virginia, it's a Georgia Pacific up there. They carry big old paper rolls. They have paper rolls, recycle all that paper stuff, whatever. I went up there on a daily, okay? They always saw me. They end up knowing me, knew my name, everything. They already know how I was coming when I came up there. Boom, damn, third. They really loved me, so they got me in and out, okay? So yeah, be nice to people, y'all. If you quit today and move to another area, how difficult would it be for you to find a similar truck driving job? I'm gonna let y'all know this right now. Like I told y'all in my previous truck driving video, you will never be without a truck driving job long as you're available to be over the road or regional. I'm gonna just put that out there. Now, if I was to move to another area and I was looking for a OTR job, which truck drivers, we call that over the road for short. If we look for another over the road job, then we would get a job just like that. Now, locally it's tricky because with me having 8 months of experience, it would be somewhat difficult for me. It took me 8 months literally to find another job that was local, and they played me. It was like BS. So would I say it's difficult? Yes and no. I mean, because you do have some local truck driving jobs that require 3 to 6 months of experience, or 6 months to a year experience, and some want that 2 to 3 year experience. That's when it gets really hard, and you just probably hit your year mark. I'm not sure. Truck drivers, help me out on this one in the comments. But to me, once you make that year mark, I think it'll be a little hard still because of that liability, that insurance. New drivers, everybody worried about that insurance. It's too high. They feel like you probably still can't drive even though you got all this over the road experience. I mean, over the road experience, yeah, it's cool or whatever. You're not really driving on actual local city roads and stuff, you mainly, when you're over the road and regional, for me, this is for me, I barely seen like cities, like being in cities or whatever, unless it was like a Snyder drop live where we drop a trailer and pick up another one, something. For example, like downtown Birmingham. Still, I'm able to maneuver because their roads are really big. But for local, you're more like city driving. So I'm guessing that plays a factor in it too. But yeah, over the road, all we see is highways, day in and day out, night and day. So I don't know, that plays a big part in it, but yeah. So would I say it's difficult if I move to another area? Yes and no, but if I had to choose one, yes. How hard is it for an inexperienced person to land a job in this field? It is not hard at all. If you're inexperienced like me, of course, everybody comes in inexperienced. That's why you go to CDL school. CDL school, they teach you the minimum. To me, they teach you the minimum and the basics of truck driving. Okay, this is for me talking, I'm not sure about everybody else, but for me, they taught me the minimum and the basic of truck driving. When I got to Snyder and I did my actual training, to me, it was good training, all of that stuff. But I feel like you won't learn for real until you get out there by yourself. I went through trials and tribulations, baby, okay? When it came to truck driving, and I was just like, I question myself a lot, like, is this for me? I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this. Can I actually do this being a female? And then it's like, it was something I had to get used to, so I kept doing it, and I eventually fell in love with truck driving. So it's not hard at all for nobody inexperienced to get into the truck driving field. That's what school is for, that's what your job training is for, and that's what you do on your own if you feel comfortable with that as well. So it's not hard at all. Off the question, how hard is it for an experience? Yeah, I kind of answered. Yeah, I mainly answered that. But no, it's not hard at all. I'm going to tell you this, sis, bro, whoever watching this. Truck driving companies, such as the big, huge ones, they need you more than you need them. Remember that. I had to learn that. And I had to, you know, I observed it. And it's really, like, for real true. So when I left Snyder, they were trying to do everything in their power to get me back. I put that on everything. They really tried, and I still to this day get mail from them, emails from them, calls, voicemails from them asking, can I come back with higher pay, this, they'll do this and that for me. So yeah, what do you actually do most of the day? How do you spend your time? I would just give y'all a rundown of what I did from morning to night. So in the mornings about 6 o'clock, between 5 and 6 o'clock, I would get up, you know, say my prayers, give my time to God, and then I would start getting ready. Now at first, well, yeah, I did it most of the time. Of course, you got your bathroom stuff and all that stuff. So eventually I end up getting unlimited showers because I end up, okay, with like gloves. And for those who are trying to truck drive or don't know this, y'all should know this if y'all truck driving, but if you don't, and for those who coming on to truck driving in the industry, let me put you on game real quick, sis. So on the Loves and the Pilot / Flying J app, you keep track of, you guys want to get a rewards card or whatever, so you can keep track of all your points. Points equal money, okay? And points, yeah, points equal money. Gallons of fuel equals free showers. Trying to let y'all know this now. So if you get 50 gallons or more every day that you fuel, or every time that you fuel and you get 50 gallons of diesel, you get a free shower, one free shower that day. Now, if you get 1,000 or more gallons of fuel over time in that same month, you end up getting unlimited showers for the rest of that month and next month. So that came in handy. I stayed with the unlimited showers. So with that, what was I saying? So with that, if I didn't have unlimited showers, and I'm just, of course, you know, I'm trying to accumulate my gallons so I can get them, I ended up, I had a really big blue bowl my mama gave me. Shout out to you, mama. But she gave me this blue bowl because she was like, you never know, you might need it to wash your face. I had big cases of water, so I had a water bottle to brush my teeth and all that. And the third, I had a lot of cups, disposable cups. I had plates, everything, right? So when I didn't have unlimited showers, I would get ready in my truck just like every other truck driver has, and you're lying if you ain't never got ready in your truck before. Literally, if you go back, if you were part of the Snapchat fam and Instagram fam, then you know I didn't look like this every day. I had my days where I didn't even want to do my hair, put lashes on and eyebrows, but most of the time to make me feel good and not make me feel so manly, because that's what truck driving made me feel like as a female. It made me feel kind of manly. So I wanted to make sure I didn't lose that feminine touch, boo. Okay, so sometime I did my eyebrows and my lashes. I never wore extra makeup and all that, because I'm not finna take that off every day. Like, no sir. So yeah, and then, you know, I get ready, put lotion on, put my clothes on, everything, and then I would turn my tablet on duty so I can go ahead and do my truck inspection. And it's always a button on there to let you know, like, if you're on duty, what are you doing? So you always put inspection. So I do my truck inspection, and about that time, it's about 7:30. Because I take my time, I listen to music, or I listen to podcasts, or I watch YouTube while I'm getting ready. After, you know, I get my time to God or whatever. And then around 7:30, 7:45-ish, that's when I'm on duty and I start my truck inspection. I check front to back, I check everything. If you saw my video of getting my CDLs in Alabama, then you would know the different type of inspections on your truck. Mainly you check it from front to back. So yeah, pop the hood, check the tires, everything. I really wish I did not lose none of that footage, because I showed y'all everything, but I did keep the SD card. So so after I do my pre-trip or whatever on my truck, it's about 7:55, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, no later than 8:30, I'm out that door. So sometime I'll go and fix my breakfast. Sometimes it's like tea, because I had a microwave. I bought a microwave in there. It's a really small one. It can only fit on the floor in this like little compartment or whatever. So I had a microwave from Walmart that was like $30. It was like a refrigerator cooler, but it can either be hot or cold. Of course, I kept it cold, so I always bought groceries before I went back to work. So I had like salad mix, everything, meat, like chicken and stuff, because at that time I didn't have some type of cooker, all those gets and gadgets and stuff, like, because I didn't really want to be out there cooking and stuff. And then sometimes I ate the truck stop food at certain places like Arby's. Don't sleep on Arby's. Flying J / Pilot. Mainly Flying J had it. If they had Denny's, then they had chicken and pizza. Yo, they original fried chicken, fire. yeah, but yeah, I'll have me like I used to have the tuna packets. I forgot what they call, but they're blue. So I had like the lemon pepper one, Thai chili one is my favorite, and I eat that with some eggs because I was still on keto. So yeah, and then like I never ate for lunch for real, because if I eat like that, then I'm not going to drive. I'm gonna have the itis, and I'm gonna be sleepy. So yeah, and then once I stop for the day, that's when I'll eat, then take my shower and chill for the night. I usually stop driving about between 5 and 6, because you know them old heads, they be parked at truck stops between like 1 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So everybody else come a little bit around 5 or 6. So between 4 and 5 and 6, I'll try to be done driving and get a good little distance going and stuff. So, but remember y'all get your 8 hours on your clock. So usually I'll drive for about 6-7 hours, take my break. Yeah, I'll take my break and then I'll keep driving until about that time. But it all depends on your trip planning and where you have to be, how far you got to be, when you have to be there, all of that, right? So that played a big part in it too. But I usually got in the shower about 7, 8 o'clock. I was very big on being organized and being like doing stuff at a certain time. I'm a Virgo, I guess. I'm very organized, very to the T. So yeah, and then I tried to lay down but not really go to sleep about 10, fall asleep about 11:30, 12 o'clock. So that's mainly what's my day. And then I get up and do all over again, unless I used up all my 70 hours on my clock and I had to sit for a day and a half, 2 days. Then I just like clean my truck, or when I got some downtime, clean my truck, sweep, do all that stuff, wipe with Lysol and all that stuff. This is before COVID. I've been buying Lysol. I don't know about y'all, but yeah. So is this a high stress position? Do you take your job home with you? No, you don't take your job home with you. Well, yeah. I mean, I took my tablet home with me. That's so I can charge it for when I go back to work. But no, I never took my job with me. I can't take my truck home with me. I live in an apartment, so I mean, I probably can park it here, but I never brought my job home with me. As far as it being a high stress position, it can be at times, especially like when you're on a time crunch. Your job steady blowing your phone up. It only happened a few times. It can be stressful at times, but most of the time I never let it stress me. If you feel like, I don't know about what any other company, but with Snyder, they were my dispatcher, she was very understanding. If I didn't feel like I was safe, or if I got an assignment and if I didn't feel safe, or for example, like if I got a new assignment from Snyder and I didn't feel like, one, it was safe because of the weather, or I knew I wasn't gonna be able to make it, because it was at times where they send me assignments and it's impossible to make that trip in like one day from like Virginia all the way to Texas. For me, that's a 2-day trip, and I would get there early that next morning. So they would try to tell me like, oh, you have to be there I'm in Virginia and you have to be in Houston, Texas. Big Island is almost at the top of Virginia, and Houston, Texas, y'all know that's at the bottom of Texas, and they expect me to be there in a day. That's impossible when you have only 11 hours of drive time. So I was just like, no, I'm not gonna be able to make it. Y'all know I'm not gonna be able to make it. So it's not happening. I'm not gonna stress over that. So yeah, what are the opportunities for advancement in trucking? To me, it's no advancements in trucking as far as like dealing with a company. You're strictly just a truck driver. For real. I mean, you get some benefits and perks of being a truck driver, but as far as like getting up like in higher positions, no. The only way I would say you can be higher up in a position is if you're a company driver and you maybe, I don't want to really say this, but because I didn't heard pros and cons of being an owner-operator. For those who don't know, owner-operator, that basically means you own your own truck, but you work for a company. You know, so say I bought my own truck, but I work for Snyder. So it's just a lot of bills you gotta pay. It was raining. But it's a lot more things you have to pay for. Snyder, if you're a company driver, then you no longer, if you're a company driver, they pay for everything. They get your truck fixed for you, all that stuff. And when you own an operator, you literally have to pay for your own fuel. You have to pay for your truck to be fixed, all this and that. And yeah, being your own, so in higher position, I would say owning your own fleet it can be an accomplishment. It's definitely an accomplishment. So you have people working for you. But if you're a company driver, nah, I don't think so. But I've also, the reason why I said owner op maybe, but I ain't want to really say that because I've talked to a lot of old heads who've been in this industry for years, since they were young, and they was 18, 20 and all that, and they like in their 80s and still driving trucks now. I will never forget this man at Walmart. I was waiting on my load paperwork, and I asked, I was like, hey, are you a company driver? You over the road? Like, you on the op? What you doing? And he was like, I will tell you, just like I tell everybody else, being an owner-operator is not what it is all cooked up to be. For some people, they love it. For me, I would rather be a company driver and keep most of my money. So, and I kind of agree with him on that. No, I've never owned my own truck before, but knowing so many people who own their own truck and like sold it and just went back to company driving, yeah. So, but yeah. What does the job pay? How do you get raises? Good thing about trucking, you can't get raises. With Snyder, I started off with 35 cents a mile. Being a new driver coming out of school, sometimes the pay ain't what you want it to be until you have experience. Some people are lucky enough to make $1,000 a week, $2,000 a week, $1,500 a week, $3,000 a week. It don't matter a week. But some of us, we had to literally start from the bottom, get our experience up, and over time, we get higher pay. So with me, for Snyder, a lot of us in my training class, we started off with 35 cents a mile because we had no experience and we just coming in brand new, fresh meat. And then after 6 months of being with Snyder, I ended up making 42 cents a mile, which was a little bit better. Had a couple extra dollars on my check, so that was pretty good. And then like the benefits was really good too. So that's how you would get the raises. With experience comes more money and stuff. So, and then they had Snyder had a lot of bonuses, so a lot of safety bonuses. So for example, if you haven't had any accidents in a while, if you haven't had any accidents or something, safe driving something, I forgot, but you end up getting bonus money on your check. Per diem, if you want it, per diem. So yeah. I had just low-key answered this. What are the good benefits? With Snyder, of course, I was a full-time company driver. I think that's just all of them. I've never heard of a part-time over-the-road driver. I know local, you can be part-time, but over-the-road, you can't be part-time for real. So, The benefits, I end up getting dental, vision, and of course medical. So that was really, really good. What kind of training, education, experience would you recommend to get into this field? Honestly, you don't need any. This is like another trade. So the only thing you'll need for education wise is going to CDL school and or getting the permit yourself, learning out the DMV CDL book. It don't matter. I went to CDL school just like a lot of other people. We all went to CDL school. That's the only education you need. Or if you didn't want to go to CDL school, there's always a DMV book. Take your permit test on your own. Find you a good working truck because they will check it at the DMV before they test you in it. And get your CDLs that way. But me, took the easy way, and I went to CDL school so I can make sure I didn't miss nothing. So yeah. Are there other qualifications needed for the job? Strength, good eyesight, specific skills and abilities. You don't need any specific skills and abilities. Some only thing is some jobs require you to drive a stick shift. In CDL school, I drove a 13-speed stick shift. That's how I practice. I kind of remember how to drive stick, but a lot of these companies are going to automatic, so it shifts the gears for you, so you ain't got to worry about all that extraness. I really wish I could have got a stick truck though, but it's whatever. It's not hard to learn stick shift at all. Strength, good eyesight or whatever. You don't have to have any good strength, like being extra strong and muscular or anything. Just make sure you can turn that landing gear when you're supposed to. Close the door, the trailer doors. You know, stuff like that. Good eyesight. Now, when you get your physical done, which is you're basically getting your medical DOC card, you have to go to a clinic either of your choice or it's mainly the job's choice. So I had 2 medical cards. The first one I got for my CDL. To get into CDL school, you had to have it. They tell you which medical facility to go to get your physical done. So if I remember, the lady asked me a whole bunch of questions about my health, any previous surgeries I had, any heart attacks, or if you had any type of illness in your past. They want to know that. They check your blood pressure. They ask, have you done any drugs recently or in the past? You do take a drug test. You take a vision test, of course, because you have to drive. You have to see if you need glasses or you good. They do stuff with they made me run in place for 5 seconds and check my breathing and all of that stuff. Of course I passed. And then that's mainly it. And then I know with Snyder, I don't know about everybody else, but I end up taking another physical test, and with the drug test they snipped some of my hair in the back, because they do the hair follicle test, and they did my urine test for drugs, and then did the same thing. No, that was it. They just took another drug test and they gave me their up-to-date medical card to go with your CDLs. You always keep that with your CDL. When you pulled over, they want to see all that. So yeah. How stable is your job? Is it seasonal? Are layoffs expected? I'm not sure about everybody else's experience, but with my experience, layoffs, it wasn't expected unless you got into an accident. I know with Snyder, some people I know through the company, they end up getting fired because they got into an accident and it was kind of serious. So you can get fired, especially with falling asleep behind the wheel. Like with Snyder, they do test some people if you're a certain weight, because one of my homeboys, he ended up having to do some sleeping test to see how you sleep, and it controls your breathing while you're sleeping and stuff. So they're really big on that. They put this stuff on your hand and they keep it on you for a few days so they can monitor you and all that to see if you're fit to be able to drive out there, especially with you being by yourself. So then once you get sick out there and then you end up passing out and you kill yourself, kill somebody else, and both of y'all sitting there dead on the highway. So it is a stable job. As long as you do what you're supposed to do, you'll never be without the job. What hours and days do you work? Do you have to spend time working outside of these hours? With truck driving, honestly, all I can say is over the road, regional, you make your own hours. My dispatcher, I told her what I feel comfortable with far as driving. I like driving during the day. Yeah, it be traffic and stuff. I know how to maneuver through that, or I know how to manage my time perfectly. So it was never a problem for me. I just told her I didn't feel comfortable with driving overnight. Yeah, I just didn't want to drive overnight. That's when a lot of people, especially on the weekends, if you're driving, people come from parties, they've been drinking, and a lot of bad weather happens at night as well. So with that, yeah, so I was on duty from about 7:30, 7 o'clock, all the way to about no later. Some days it'll be late than others, and I have to pay for parking. So I'm gonna say between my regular flow, about 7:30 to no later than 6. If I had some wacky hours and I had to drive extra, I would do till about 9 o'clock, so at night. So yeah, but I always had my parking spot ready and available for me because I paid for it. Do you work mostly alone or with others? I was a solo driver. Can't do teams. Truck too little for all that. This same job going to exist 15 years from now? Yes. Truck driving will never end. Is it hard being a female truck driver? I'm gonna try to keep this short. Yes and no. You do have your creeps. I'm gonna just put it out there. You do have your creepy people who are so fascinated by you being, one, a female, and two, you're pretty. I've been told I was gorgeous. I'm too fine to be a truck driver, whatever that means. So I guess when you look a certain way, these men are so creepy, very, very creepy. And it's like, I've been told I have never seen somebody so girly driving a truck such as yourself in so long. It's like every blue moon you'll see one. So, and I was mainly everywhere in the States, so I was always there. But it's kind of difficult too, especially at night, because this was me. A lot of places I would get to the truck stops at nighttime. I didn't have a problem with truck stops, but it can be a problem. So when I got there, I tried to get to truck stops as early as I can to go ahead and park and be done, shut down for the day. I try to do all my little digs that I gotta do, getting in and out the truck a few times before I just take it on in and go to sleep. So once I park, I just pray it be daylight outside still, because when I park, I go get my food. If I'm going to go eat at the truck stop, I'll get my food, bring it back, I'll eat. After I eat or whatever, I try to hurry up on my phone and reserve my shower. Hopefully the line ain't long. It'll tell you when it's ready, how many people in front of you before you even reserve it and all that stuff. And then it still be like a little bit daylight outside at times. So yeah, especially like daylight savings time is on or off, that irritates me too, because when it starts to get dark a little early, then I'm just out of luck. But for the most part, I tried as much as I could. I could count on both hands. Out of all the times I done drove trucks and had to go to truck stops, I would need like 6 to 7 people probably. I'll take a shower, and sometimes it'll be dark outside, but it's a lot of the truck stops, of course, had lights. I came across a lot of truck stops too that didn't have no lights, and it was like an extra parking spot. I've been in middle of nowhere truck stops that were famous, like Love's and Pilot and Flying J and all that, but some of them didn't have lights towards the back, and that's all I had. When I got there, I could just park back there because there was no up close parking spots where lights are. It's been times where the lights in the parking lot just didn't work. I called to see if they can turn them on or what's wrong with them, and they don't know and can't turn them on. So I mean, it's kind of, I'm not a scary female by far, so I don't fear nobody but one person, and that's my father, man above. So God had me the whole time. If you try to do something in my truck, try to get in, I got something for you. I wasn't the type of person who put the seatbelt around the door so people couldn't get in. Baby, if somebody really wants to get up in there, they can get in there. So I don't know. I guess that's for y'all comfort and confirmation, but if somebody really wants to get in your truck, they can get in and forget all about their seatbelt. So I mean, you come in, I got something for you though, so I wasn't tripping. No way. So for the most part, nobody ever bothered me. It was just a lot of men were trying to talk to me, get my phone number and all that, and after a while it just got really annoying, because at first when I started, I was just overwhelmed, like y'all need to back up, cut it out. Okay, it's one thing cool to give me a compliment, I say thank you and keep it moving, but for you to actually be that comfortable in trying to get close to me, like, no, you're weird, move. Okay, overall it wasn't difficult for me. What's the hardest part about being a female driver and being alone out there? I kind of basically answered it. You by yourself, and you got to protect yourself. It's something, because anything can happen at any given time. So will you do it for the rest of your life? I honestly would. Somebody, I forgot who told me, was it my parents? Somebody asked me if I had to choose between what I went to school for, which was law enforcement, or truck driving, which one would I do for free? And that was the most hardest question of my life, because I love helping people. That's why I went to college to get my law enforcement degree, because I love helping people so much. And truck driving, I just literally fell in love with it when I first started doing it. Like, it was a love for a job that I never had, if that makes sense. Like, I've never loved something so much like that and was so passionate about. But I was really passionate about helping people in law enforcement too. But I honestly told him I would honestly drive trucks for the rest of my life for free. It's just, I love it. And my last question, what advice would you give to someone who's looking to get their CDLs? Do it. It's worth a shot. You either gonna love it or you're not. So it might be the best blessing that has ever happened to you, because I ended up getting my CDLs in a very low low time in my life. So yeah, I say do it. It might be the best thing that ever happened to you, because it definitely was a blessing to me, and I felt like I needed, I picked the right career at that time of my life. So driving trucks was the best blessing next to my son. So that's all I can say. Okay, that was all of the questions, y'all. So I hope this wasn't too lengthy for y'all. I want to say thank y'all to everybody who has subscribed to me. I've also made this video because we did reach 1,000 subscribers finally after so long. And it was the biggest milestone that I have ever gotten to on YouTube. But thank y'all for being part of the Ash fam. I really and truly appreciate it. I appreciate every last one of my viewers, whether you subscribe to me or you don't subscribe to me. I just want to say thank you for supporting me and watching my videos and actually liking the content that I put out the past couple months. So with that being said, I will see y'all in my next video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. When you subscribe, make sure you click that notification bell next to the subscribe button so you'll never miss a video from me, sis. I just did a whole freestyle just like that, okay? With that being said, I will see y'all in my next video. Chocolate.